which really helps out. I don't want a bunch of little Terrys running our business. I just need people who understand, the end product and have a logical reason as to why we're getting to that destination. And right now we're good. We have a solid frame for that, and we're shoring up some issues that we had initially. We ran Pitch and Rudder for 18 months entirely on active duty. And, during that time we went from, 500 followers on Facebook to 27,000 followers on Facebook with just a few products to, well over 150 products now. So being only retired for the last, 2 months, while on active duty, I realized that we could get stuff done, and we were doing everything the right way, but it became one of those things that now that I'm retired, I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I guess it's more like golf. You can hit a golf ball really hard if you muscle through it and just, swing the club as fast as you can, but it's not efficient or effective. It's just, let me just slam this as hard as I can. And so since I've been retired, we've been going back through our processes and looking and see what's not the most effective, and then implementing new controls in there to make them better. So getting a social media management team on board to help us out, and bringing people online for customer service, which was our primary portion what we were having problems with. It wasn't that our product was amazing. It was with 2 people being active duty, going on detachments and being deployed, it would take longer than it should to reply to people. So putting people in place to shore that up has made, immeasurable changes to our model.
Sure. So as you're growing, are there maybe a couple things that still are sort of the keep you up at night scenarios from a business owner standpoint?
So, not as many as probably most businesses would have. We are really lucky. We started the business at the house. I ship stuff out of my garage. We always had this separation of church and state between house money and Pitch and Rudder money. So like never the two would ever meet. We never had to take any loans or do any large credit cards or anything like that. We were able to finance it completely off the product itself, doing a couple pre-orders in the beginning and then just rolling that through. And we had this motto where it was like, scared money doesn't make money. And so anytime we saw something cool that could come up, we were never afraid to jump in with both feet. And now that I'm retired, Pitch and Rudder is now an actual portion of our income. And it wasn't before. And so now it's keeping me up at night is more along the lines of, is that going to hinder what we do in the future? Is now that I have to think about this as this is a portion of our income, do I really need to push this envelope today? Going to stop us from expanding the way we have in the last 18 months.
Sure. And that makes perfect sense. So do you believe that as far as business plans and other key strategies, do you think that that's something that business owners should do just from your perspective? We hear a lot of vets that they're really motivated about getting into business and kind of skip those steps. So I'm sort of feeling you out on that one.
So to say we didn't have a business plan is really not really the right word to say, not the right phrase. We had a business plan. Let's make cool shit and let's sell a lot of it and make money. That was our business plan. It wasn't like we didn't have like the SWOT and everything else where we could go through and figure out, this is our threat and where do we need to shore up, and we didn't have any of that. I can't say that it would have helped us more or it would have made us better because I really don't know. I think it's important to know who you're selling your product to or your service. If you don't know who your demographic is, if you don't know your avatar, and you don't give them a name, and invite them to dinner and shake their hand every day and figure out exactly what you have to do to put your product in front of them every day, then I don't think it matters how good your business plan is or how bad it is. Without that key component, I don't really think you'll be very successful. So I think that's the primary point that needs to be driven home is you have to know the person that you're trying to market to and know them really, really well. Even in our demographic now, like I said, all of us that are attached to Pitch and Rudder, we're all senior leadership. We're all E7s and E8s in the Navy. So that demographic we have down. We can sell to them really, really well. The E6 and below, not as much. And we try and drill down and figure out, what we need to do to meet up with them and bring them over to dinner so that we can, figure out what makes them tick and sell them products. But that's been our hang up so far, which kind of sucks because, the E7 to E9 ratio in the Navy is, the top 10% of the class. So we're leaving 90% of the population on the table. So that's the part we're still trying to fill out.
So as far as other businesses that you might have seen out there, other entrepreneurs that you may have met, do you think that there are a couple reasons that you could point out that you've been able to identify that maybe of why they have given up or have failed in their business venture?
Every case is different. If you don't know who your avatar is, that's a primary factor. If you don't know who you're selling to, that's going to be a big problem. But I think outside of that, I think there's this, I think being like a business owner or being a, entrepreneur is, kind of like this mystical creature that people see. They're like, man, that's really what I want to do. I really want to own my own business. And it sounds great and it's awesome. I love it. But there's days where you wake up and it's like, this is the greatest thing on the planet. And then 9 hours later, you're like, oh my God, how come I'm not working at Home Depot right now? It would be so much less stress if I could just work at Home Depot, And then there's other times where, I'll have a friend, PM me in the morning on Facebook and be like, hey, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. You're retired. You should be asleep. Like, well, I own a business. The things that we do, we get up super early. We go to bed super late. Talking about Disney before, we would still work on vacation. We'd be walking around Disney and, somebody be asking me about coins or, hey, I really want to do this project and it requires this, this, and this. And my wife and kids would go on a ride and I would sit outside the ride, text them all the details about the project. When you're an entrepreneur, or you're a business owner, you don't really have working hours. You work when you have to work. And I think people kind of forget about that, or they don't realize that until they're in with both feet. And then they realize working for themselves, they might have the hardest boss they've ever had in their life, and maybe Home Depot is just a better option.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And, they say that roughly about 90% of people that try to start a business end up failing. And, a big part of that, and you touched on it, was not knowing who your client is or where that market is. There was a study that I recently was looking at that, the big majority of the reason why businesses were going under was in fact because they didn't know what their market was. They had a really good product. They just were in the wrong place, wrong place, wrong time, and, didn't have the market to go for. So it's huge. And a lot of people would think, maybe it's a financial problem. You didn't have the money to run your business, but that actually comes in like at number 3. So it's not the top 2 reasons. But you're definitely touching on that the reason really is that you need to know who your demographic is and who to target. So what are maybe a couple roadblocks that you've run across that you would warn people against?
Roadblocks. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I think that's something I see a lot. I mean, we help people, start their businesses when they have questions. We give them a hand. We have a whole group called on Facebook called Forward to Glory, and it's transitioning veterans out of the service. And it's awesome. And we answer questions there all the time. And one of the biggest things is everyone always wants to go. They want to hit the big green button once everything is perfect. And it's never going to be perfect. Like, there's never going to be a time where the stars align and every single aspect of your business is ready to go and is amazingly perfect. If your website's not exactly where you need it to be, but it's functional and it provides the brand that you need, but you can tweak as you move, then you should go. If you know your demographic and you have it solid, and you're just waiting on a few more, components on some other side, then you should move. If you wait, somebody else is going to grab your idea and somebody else is going to move with it. And you're going to be sitting there, staring at whatever it was that you wanted to do, wishing that you had 20 minutes ago or 3 weeks ago or 5 years ago, still waiting for that to be that perfect time.
Sure.
It's like a marriage proposal. It's never, ever going to be perfect. Just go out there and make the best of what you have and move forward. I think that's the biggest roadblock is people getting over themselves. For me, for us at Pitch and Rudder, our biggest roadblock was customer service and time. Like, we just did not have time. Time is always hard to come by. And so both of us being, the time was only two of us, both of us being active duty. Both of our wives had jobs. It was not something we could just tag, you're it, you go. Customer service was something that hurt. And so we just spent more time and got it square by bringing on a team and getting everything streamlined. And that was really it.
So what are maybe a couple of resources that you've run across that have helped you in the process that you would throw out there for people, different organizations or what have you that have been useful?
So literally, it sounds cliche, but you don't know what you don't know. And being a part of coaching groups, like business coaching groups, I'm in the Stephen Kuhn's impact coaching or immediate impact coaching has been amazing. Bringing to light stuff that I was like, wow, I had no idea we could do this. Or, YouTube SEO, things that I just had no idea about. And, that's not in my wheelhouse. That's not something that I'm aware of. A part of groups like that, Kuhn's group, simply amazing. I can't speak highly enough of it. Being a part of a network of people, like-minded individuals that you can bounce ideas back and forth, that helps out tremendously. So if you can find your tribe that you can push forward and you can bounce stuff off of, it doesn't have to be, 1,000 strong. It just needs to have that quality of people to make it worth doing. And you can't bounce the idea off your mom. You can't have your mom's outlook on it because everything is pretty. You need somebody that is going to tell you yo, your baby is ugly, You need to stop this.